Welcome to Justice for New York. My name is Char Collins. Senators Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand of New York are looking to shut down the U.S. government again over DACA, children brought here illegally by their parents. The issue does need to be addressed, but the U.S. government should not be shut down over it. Our military stripped of their pay and all the other consequences from it. Now, during the Obama administration, DACA was also on the issue. The U.S. Senate was composed of more than 60 Democrats. They could have passed it. They didn't. Why didn't the Democrats? Because of Chuck Schumer. He fought against DACA. It's going to be shown in a minute on a video put out by the Red Elephant. I'm just going to show you an excerpt of it. You can find it on YouTube at Schumer Then versus Now. The only reason Schumer and Gillibrand are wanting to address the issue now is because President Trump wants to build a wall, end chain migration, and end the lottery system for people coming into this country. Now, it is purely political on their part. It's like the last election. Do any of you remember what the big issue was in the last election? Well, I'm going to give you a hint. It was where the liberal Democrats like Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand wanted to strip tens of millions of women of this country and children, girls, can't forget them, of their constitutional right to privacy. Now, that isn't exactly how they framed it, but that was the intent and what the consequences would be if it had been passed and made into law by them. So think about it. We'll address that in a minute. First, let me show you the video produced by the Red Elephants.
Looks like old Chucky Schumer, the delicatessen man, old Schumerstein, forgot exactly what he said just a few years ago about DACA and illegal immigration before he got on stage yesterday and said Trump's decision on DACA was heartless.
People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally. And illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally.
The president's decision to end DACA was heartless and it was brainless.
I'm sorry, Chucky, I don't know if I heard that right. How should we treat illegal immigrants?
And illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally.
Oh, okay, got it. And also, Chucky, what should we do about illegal immigrants like dreamers working here illegally?
A biometric-based employer verification system with tough enforcement and auditing is necessary to significantly diminish the job magnet that attracts illegal aliens to the United States.
Oh, really? Because just yesterday you said this.
Hundreds of thousands of families will be ripped apart. Tens of thousands of American businesses will lose hardworking employees.
Oh, one more thing, Chucky, before I forget. How should we refer to people who come here illegally? Should we say illegal aliens, or should we be politically correct and say undocumented?
When we use phrases like undocumented workers, we convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration.
Looks like old delicatessen man Chucky Schumer a few years ago was acting like he was our guy. But as you can see, these people don't really have any original beliefs or opinions or thoughts on things. They just go with the flow of what they think the American people want at that particular moment. What did Hillary Clinton have to say about these so-called dreamers?
But we have to send a clear message. Just because your child gets across the border, that doesn't mean the child gets to stay. That doesn't mean the child gets to stay. So we don't want to send a message that is contrary to our laws.
There's enough hypocrisy to go around the entire Democratic establishment.
So what'd you think of the video? Sounds like Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton are Donald Trump. They're taking his position. Democrats are upset that Trump offered more DACA children a pathway to citizenship than they ever did under Obama. They're mad because black unemployment is the lowest it's ever been. Hispanic employment is the lowest it's ever been. They don't want him to succeed. Look at all the people that are getting thousands of dollars. Big companies are giving out bonuses that they haven't given out in years. That you would, and these crumbs that they're giving them, $1,000. I'd like to get $1,000. But then Schumer and Gillibrand make 100 and some odd thousand as U.S. senators a year, and Pelosi's worth a couple $100 million. You know, maybe to them that is crumbs, but to the average person, that's a lot of money. And they're going to be getting more money in their paychecks. And the Democrats didn't support any of it. Whatever Trump says, they're going to automatically take the reverse. Now, just to get off the subject for just a second, let's look at, I asked you, what was the issue in the last election that the Democrats were pushing that took away tens of millions of rights to privacy of women and girls in this country? I'll tell you what it was. Now, I don't care if anybody is straight, gay, or transgender. It makes no difference. They all have the same male body parts. So, by demanding that they be allowed into women's restrooms, bathrooms, locker rooms, which have showers, that's okay. That's taking away the rights of women. Questions never asked of Chuck Schumer and these different sports that decided, well, we're going to boycott a state because of it. Chuck Schumer, why would you want a male, and I don't care which one of the three it is, to share a bathroom with your wife or a locker room or a shower with your wife? Or your daughters? Also, why would your wife want to share a bathroom with another male? Or your daughters to share a bathroom with another male that they don't even know? Senator Gillibrand, why would you want to share a bathroom, a locker room, or with a shower and stuff with an unknown male? And your husband doesn't have a problem with it? And some male just walked in there and decided, I'm going to share the bathroom with his wife? You don't care. It's an argument to put out there. What about my 90-year-old mother, my girlfriend, my daughter, my granddaughters? I have several of them. What about their right to privacy? And the millions of other women and the tens of millions of other women in the United States. What about their rights to privacy when they want to use a ladies' room or a ladies' locker room or a girls' room or a girls' locker room? What about their rights to privacy? You want to take that away. That's how perverted you guys are. You sit there and you try to make it look like the other party is wrong all the time. You're wrong. You know it. But it's a political issue to raise and fight for. And get pitting one group against another. You guys use Hitler's playbook. Now, back to DACA. You're willing to fight for children in this country, to come into this country illegally and stay here and everything else. But you're not willing to fight for the rights of children in New York State. What about protecting children from illegal imprisonments? Give you an example. Every child right now that's in detention in New York State is illegally in detention. The reason being, People versus Gideon, U.S. Supreme Court ruling held that children are entitled to the same constitutional rights as adults. I know you liberal Democrats don't believe it, but it's a fact. Children go into family court. They're 12, 13, 14 years old, 15 years old. They get sent to juvenile detention for a year or 2 years. Or they're even facing a year or two in juvenile detention. Judge hears the matter. Whoops! Big mistake. Where is their constitutional right to a jury trial? Anybody that faces more than 6 months in jail, plus other onerous penalties, but just take the 6 months in jail, is entitled to a jury trial. Why are these children stripped of their rights to a jury trial? They're going to, if they're sent to detention for more than 6 months, they are in the custody of the state. They are not in the custody of their parents. These children have to do what the state tells them to do it and when they tell them to do it. They can't go to the mall shopping when they decide they want to go out or play with their friends next door. They're confined. So why are they being stripped of their constitutional rights, and why haven't the two of you done anything about it? Why hasn't Governor Cuomo or Schneiderman done anything? Because you're all liberal Democrats and you're out to screw children over. You argue otherwise, but believe me, you don't do anything about it. But you'll fight for DACA children. You'll fight for illegal immigrants coming into this country illegally. You'll fight for them, to give them rights they don't have. But you won't fight for the children. What about fathers and mothers who are illegally imprisoned by the family court for failure to pay support? They're entitled to jury trials, but not in New York State. Nobody wants to address the issue. Everything is on in my scoops at Justice for New York. I also have several videos going through the whole process. Again, www.justicefornewyork.com. I can honestly say that every man, woman, and child right now in New York State penal system is illegally in jail. This has to end. They need to be freed. These fathers, the mothers, the children need to be freed immediately. And these corrupt judges that are sending them to jail need to be held accountable for their illegal actions. What about the children in New York State that are being abused by the judges, the law guardians, and the social workers? And don't tell me it doesn't happen. It does. I got a 14-year-old girl a few years ago that a psychologist got a letter, a copy of her letter she did, not a letter, but an essay she did on her family and with the court system for an English class in school. The psychologist read it and then sent a letter to state officials as a mandated reporter called it in. And he discusses how the judge, the law guardians, the social workers were putting this child in imminent danger. So much so that he was afraid she could actually take her own life because of their illegal actions against her and threatening her and intimidating her. And what were they fighting over? They were trying to convince her she doesn't want anything to do with her father, who she loved and cherished and wanted to be with. This is what they do to children in these closed court proceedings in New York. But you don't care. All you care about are the illegal immigrants coming into this country. What about the drugs that are coming across the wall? coming across the border. We have an opioid epidemic, heroin and everything. Where's most of it coming from? Mexico. But you don't want to stop it. You want to try to figure out a way to tax it. You don't care about people. You got to stop the problem at the source, which is the drugs coming into this country. We got to get people off of it. It's got to be addressed. But you got to start at the beginning. You don't want a wall. You don't want to end the chain migration. You don't want to end the lottery system. But you did a few years ago until President Trump became president. And then you're all for this continuing. One thing about the Democrats, you liberal Democrats, I got to give you credit for. When the boss speaks like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, you lockstep behind them. The Republicans are not lockstep. They fight, it's all over the news, and they call it discord. But at least they're willing to fight for their different principles. You liberal Democrats, it's either you go along with us or you're done. And that's what you're trying to shove on America. All this stuff, this garbage that you put out. And I got to admit, Senator Schumer, you look pathetic during our President Trump's State of the Union address. You couldn't even care less what he's accomplished, lowering black unemployment, lowering Hispanic unemployment, the stock market going crazy. All of this since Obama left, he took over the presidency. And I know you want to say, well, Obama started. He didn't start it. He was out to destroy this country just like you are, under rules, regulation, and anything else you can do to make the United States a third world country. That's your intent. It isn't President Trump that acts like Hitler. It is you liberal Democrats that are the Hitler wannabes. Judge Kay of New York State holding, you have to read the arguments before her and then her ruling, because all she states in her ruling was no substantial constitutional questions involved. Constitutional question: your right to a public trial before you're in prison. That's not a substantial right in New York State. Right to a jury trial before you're in prison. That's not a substantial right. A right to court of proper jurisdiction isn't a substantial right. Nothing's a substantial right in New York State when it comes to you liberal Democrats. It's what you decide is going to be a right or not be a right, not the Constitution of New York State or the United States Constitution. You both need to start supporting our President Trump. You need to make America great again. We need to build the United States. Look at how it's being built. And you guys want to destroy it. You won't vote for anything that he wants. That's out of spite. And we've already shown how you flip-flopped on DACA, how you want to strip millions of women in the United States of their constitutional right to privacy. How low can you guys go? Everybody needs to support our president. Make America great again. Thank you.